For all of its faults, this is fun. What's going on, people? I'm Alex Thorn, and I'm a rock and roll musician who in his downtime likes to watch some movies. Now lately you haven't seen much from me because I was sick for a little while, and then as soon as I stopped being sick where I couldn't record and do too much, I got to recording. But now I've been able to sit down and watch some movies, so thank you for waiting patiently for me. But I'm back, and this time we're going to take a look at Netflix Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Woo! Here's the thing. I know I'm about to say something blasphemous, but I was never a fan of the original Texas Chainsaw quadrilogy or whatever. But I did get into it in 2003. When 2003's came out, I mean, I was astonished. I could put that movie on repeat. When the beginning came out, it felt like just a continuation, kind of like Resident Evil 1 and 0 on the GameCube. That Texas Chainsaw Massacre felt the same way, in the sense that it just felt like one movie. You could watch them back to back and it'd be great. You know, Texas Chainsaw 3D, whatever, and then there was another one. But then Netflix got a hold of this whole franchise, which is pretty big. I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't up there with Freddy Krueger or Jason or Halloween, but it is like a tier below that. And it did come out, I believe, before all of that stuff. And, you know, honestly, I don't think anybody, to be honest, should be looking at the 1977 version. I think we should be going back to the 2003. That's one of the things about these newer movies that I just don't understand, why we keep going back so far. Yes, the originals are the originals, but they had timelines. We're done with those. We should be doing something new. So this movie harks back to the original timeline with the original final girl, which is not. It's not her. It's the character, but it's not the same woman. I believe she passed away some years ago. The thing about this is that it ignores, right off the bat, that's something that I have to like take into account. It ignores the family aspect that she went through. And it's never said, but unless, you know, Leatherface was, you know, after the whole episode of part 1, and then suddenly he goes to like a foster home, and I like it, but if this is a continuation, why is he coming from a foster home? He was a grown boy, man, in the original. Yeah, he was a little younger, but you know, I just don't get that. But if you take those things away and you just look at the story they're trying to tell you from the jump, which is, you know, just this one. That's why it's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I guess. It's a fun story. So it starts out with these influencers, which have to be the most annoying and plain looking people I've ever seen in my life. And there's two sisters on this road trip, and one of them is fucking weird, and then the other one is kind of cool. You know, she's got I think her boyfriend is the black guy. I don't know his name. He kind of comes off cold, but he's cool, but he's cold at the same time in certain situations. And they're going to this town that's been abandoned for the longest time, and you know, things are going dirt cheap out there. So all of these young people, these influencers, are going out there and they're going to bid on properties and make this old dusty ass, you know, town brand new with new ideas. And I love that idea. I don't know if it happens in real life, but if it doesn't, I wish it did. It'd be pretty cool. Not necessarily with influencers, but with younger people, because there's a lot of rural areas in the United States that could use a facelift and some fresh ideas instead of just stuff that's been around there since the 1920s, 30s, 40s, or whatever. They get to the town and they see this Confederate flag out of one of the buildings. They go inside of it and there's a lady in there. This is the caretaker of the once upon a time the foster care the only kid left is Leatherface. And I thought whoever's playing him, I don't know if it's the original guy or a new guy, I thought his presence was great. He's a big bumbling fucking guy. I mean, that's a corn-fed motherfucker right there. And they debate with her like everybody in this town is supposed to be gone. Nobody's supposed to be here, you know. And pretty coldly tell her to get the fuck out. And she's like, no, I paid my debt. I paid my bill or whatever. Everything's up to date. I'm still supposed to live here. And they kind of push that to the point where she has an episode and they have to call the hospital on her. They have to call the ambulance on her. And when they come, of course, Leatherface is going to go nuts because this is the person that's been taking care of him since he got taken away from his family or whatever, as if he was a little fucking kid in the original, which he wasn't. And here we go. They're in the ambulance. She dies. He loses his shit. They're obviously continuing a story that she took somebody in. That's the thing that's just so, again, it just, if you pay attention to the continuation that it's trying to tell you, it's confusing if you've seen the original. But she's obviously trying to tell him not to go into her room, to be a good boy, because she takes him from being Leatherface. But I don't understand. She has pictures with him on the wall where he's young. And in the original movie, he's not young. He's already a grown-up. He's past 18. But she's got pictures with him where he obviously looks maybe 12, 13, 14. But whatever. You know, a bunch of craziness ensues. He kills the paramedics. He kills the cops. And then one of the girls, the influencers who went out to the town, she was like, let me go with them. And she dies a really gruesome death. And then he takes her face and he does what he does. And here he goes. He's going back to the town because he wants to go back home. What happens when he does go back home is he goes immediately straight for the bedroom. Finds his pristine looking chainsaw that she put in the wall. It's not dusty, dirty, fucked up or anything. It looks pretty damn spiffy for something that's been in the wall for 40 years or so. And one of the things earlier that I skipped is, you know, of course, like every movie, they stop into a gas station and there's a picture, a hand-drawn picture of Leatherface, plus the picture from the newspaper of the lone survivor of the original incident. Anyways, with all the carnage that ensues, and again, the influencers bring all of these young kids there to bid on stuff. So this is all fresh people for Leatherface. And here's where, to me, the movie gets just really over the top fun. He enters, and I'm sure you guys seen this in the trailer if you haven't yet, but he enters that bus and they're all partying. They all take out their phones and be like, dude, bro, you're canceled. And puts them on live. And of course he kills everybody. And, you know, there's comments there like they are in real life. God, that blood looks so fake. And, you know, all this stupid stuff that happens today. But, you know, as the movie goes on, there's a 911 call because I believe somebody came along and they call over. And, you know, Sarah Connor from the original, you know, she hears it and now she's this badass. Like, this is the second problem with it. Besides the continuation, when they bring this character, I don't know her name, but she's the old woman in the movie, supposedly reprising the role, even though it's just a character role. She comes and she sticks her shotgun in his face and she wants him to remember her. And he skips her. You know, as she's like pissed that he's not facing her and not remembering her because she's just one of the many people that he killed with his family back then. And I'm telling you, she's absolutely useless because she fucking dies like this. I mean, there's a little moment where she kind of helps the girls out, but it's just her. This movie could have existed without her, and this movie could have existed without the callbacks, honestly. I think the callbacks were just something that some executive said, well, let's try to do what Halloween did and every other stupid movie that's trying to call back with terrible things. But she's useless in there. Everybody dies in great fashion, in cool fashion. Lots of blood, lots of fun. And I think what gets me is that the tail end of this movie, there's also some fucking social commentary, which is, I hate that they do this now. They put the weirdest looking girl there, had this incident at school where there was a school shooter, and I'm not making light. I'm not making light of school shootings or anything like that, or people who have been through it. But they try to make this thing where she's afraid of guns and she doesn't want to touch guns. And then it doesn't help to me as a viewer of the movie. It doesn't help that she looks fucking weird. She looks plain. I mean, I just can't overstate that. And you know, it finally comes to the point where she gets the gun, she shoots him, he falls back into a pit of water. And I believe the way they got there was a smart car, like a Tesla, where they can just tell it where to go and it'll do self-driving and all that. And at the end of the movie, they're taking off. I kind of personally wish that it didn't happen this way. At the end of the movie, Leatherface kills the smarter, cooler, better looking sister and leaves the fucking weirdo to take off in a car. I wish it was the other way around. I wish he would have got the other chick. But that's just my opinion. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I had fun watching this movie. And so on the bandana system, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 bandanas. And again, it's just because it's fun. All that continuality stuff, I know I have to pick it apart because I'm reviewing it. And that, if I didn't mention it, somebody is going to mention it here in the comments. One of you guys are. But if you just go into it fresh and not be a, you know, horror movie buff or anything like that, it's a fun movie. It really is. I think if you maybe only knew about Texas Chainsaw Massacre or heard about it and this is the first time you're watching it, it's a fun movie. It's a good movie. But most of us, which is why you're doing a callback in a movie with the character, you're trying to appeal to people who have seen it, who are fans of it, who haven't seen it in a long time. It doesn't make sense. But at least it's fun. So let me know what you think of Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Did they do well? Should they get another, you know, franchise under their belt? Let me know down below. With all that being said, I'm really happy and excited that we're coming to the end of the year. And if you're seeing this, I hope you have a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas. And in 2023, I'm releasing my first EP. Plus, we're doing a small tour right here in the Midwest. So I'm going to keep you updated on that. Keep to this channel. Rock out. Watch some movies. Like the video. Comment and subscribe. Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year.